Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your man Pristine back with another video. Welcome to another unboxing. Here before you, I've got the Sony Xperia 10 Plus. Now, about a month, maybe month and a half ago, Mobile World Congress, Sony revealed their new devices, and they revealed 3 new devices. Actually 4. So first they talked a lot about the Xperia 1, which is going to be coming out, like I've heard different things, spring, summer, end of November 2019 or December 2019. So it's still yet to be determined when the Xperia 1 is coming out, and that's going to be their new flagship. But the Xperia 10 Plus and the Xperia 10 is their new mid-range devices. Now, there's a little bit of a difference between the 10 and the 10 Plus here. And then you've got their budget model, which I believe is like the Xperia L3 or something like that. I think that's what it is. And I'm not exactly sure what the pricing is on that, but I know that the L series is like their budget line. All right. And so Sony's doing it a little bit different. Okay, in a world right now in the smartphone game where a lot of the aspect ratios are still 18:9 or 19:5.9 or something like that, Sony was like, look, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's go 21:9. Okay, so this phone, it's long, and I don't anticipate a lot of people, loving the form factor of this device, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when I get it out of the box. But me personally, I'm a huge fan of it. Why? Because it's different. You know what I mean? The market is so saturated with phones that all look like one another. You know what I mean? And so the fact that Sony is doing something different, I'm on board with that. All right, so Xperia 10 Plus, let's get it going. All right, now first I'm going to talk about the specs. One of the most important specs being the price. Now, full retail unlocked, this phone is $429.99. Got it at Best Buy earlier today. Now, I paid $100 less. Why? Because if you buy this phone from Best Buy, if you buy it with activation, you get $100 off depending on the carrier in which you're activating it under. So if you're activating it with Verizon, you get the $100 off and you get the phone for $329.99. If you're activating it with Sprint, you also get the $100 off and you get it for $329.99. If you are activating it with AT&T, you don't get $100 off. The phone is $379.99 under AT&T. Or if not any one of those 3 choices, Best Buy, they don't really rock with T-Mobile for whatever reason, you have to pay full price, which is the $429.99. Now me, I've got several lines at Verizon. It was nothing for me to add another line just to take advantage of the $100 off. You know what I'm saying? Wait about a week and a half, whatever, turn around and cancel that line, because the SIM card that I got, I'm never going to use that SIM card. But to take advantage of the price, $100 off, brand new phone, man, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to save yourself a little bit of money, you know what I mean, if you're already with one of these carriers, man, just go ahead and add a line and, get it for the low, and then just turn around and cancel that line. You know what I'm saying? If it's not something that you're actually going to use. All right. Now, and there still may be some fees associated with that, but it's not like you're going to be paying full cost for the line if you turn around and cancel it. But there may be a prorated amount that you may get charged for. I know a lot of these carriers, there's an upgrade fee, so you may still be stuck paying that upgrade fee. Hey, getting the phone for $100 off, it's worth it to me. You know what I'm saying? So, now, we've got a 6.5 inch Full HD IPS LCD 1080 by 25 20 pixel display, Full HD Plus. Okay, we've got a screen to body ratio of 81%, 422 ppi pixel density, Corning Gorilla Glass 5, and as I mentioned, a 21:9 aspect ratio. Okay, now under the hood, we've got the Snapdragon 636 processor, octa-core CPU clocked at 1.8 gigahertz, Cryo 260. We've got an Adreno 509 GPU, 64 gigs of onboard storage, expandable to 512, 4 gigs of RAM, Android 9 Pie baked right in, fresh out of the box. All right. Now, our cameras, we got a dual sensor on the rear, single sensor on the front. The rear cameras, 12 megapixel primary camera with an f1.8 aperture, 8 megapixel secondary telephoto lens that provides us with the 2-time optical zoom at f2.4 aperture. Okay, the front facing selfie cam is an 8 megapixel sensor at 2.0 aperture, features LED flash, HDR, panorama. As I mentioned, 2-time optical zoom. We do have 4K recording at 30 frames per second and full 1080p at 30 frames per second as well. Now the battery, we've got a 3000 milliamp hour non-removable battery, 18 watt fast charging, quick charge 3.0, type C USB port for fast charging. The colors that you can get this phone in, you can get it in black, navy blue, silver, and gold. I really wanted the silver and gold or the gold, but Best Buy, they only had the black, and I didn't want to wait any longer. I wanted to get my hands on the phone today so I can crack it, crack this box, do this video for you guys. So I got the black, all black everything, no racist. You guys already know how I do, you know what I'm saying? Although I've been wanting to try different things, this pearl white on this S10 Plus, man, head turner. All right, now, other notable features, Bluetooth 5.0, NFC, FM radio, side-mounted fingerprint sensor. We do have facial recognition on this phone as well. We do have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack with the 24-bit 192 kilohertz audio LDAC. Okay, so this phone supports high-res audio. Okay, you're talking about some pretty serious upscaling, whether it be headphones or connected to wireless speakers, Bluetooth stereo in your car. You're gonna notice the difference in sound quality when you've got this thing paired up with your audio devices when listening to audio. Okay, and then we have Xperia adaptive charging, which what that is basically the charger monitors the battery as it's charging. So say if you plug this phone in at night, you go to sleep, sometimes batteries can get damaged if it's left on the charger extensively after it reaches 100%. Well, the Xperia charger has some kind of smart technology within it to where if that's the case, it's going to basically slow down or stop the charge to the battery so that it's not being overcharged, which leads to damage. And so you don't ever have to worry about your battery being damaged if you leave it on the charger all night, extensively after it's already reached 100%. That's pretty dope. Okay, so presentation, Xperia 10 Plus, Sony. Again, box is just kind of plain and basic. They don't really deviate much from what they do as far as the packaging is concerned. Little information there, Xperia 10 Plus on the left, Xperia 10 Plus on the bottom. And then here on the back, it's clean. And then we've got some, the specs here, the camera, the 8 megapixel front facing camera, battery, what's that? I have my glasses on. Okay, yeah, battery, the Snapdragon's processor, 64 gigs, 4 gigs of RAM. All right, just in case you wanted to, fact check, the information that I just gave. Got the little unboxing knife right here. Let's go ahead and crack this joint out the BizOx. Boom. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Now here is the device itself. Let's go ahead and gently. Whoa. Okay, almost slipped out. Okay, toss that plastic aside. Here's the device right here. As you can see, this device, it is very long. Okay, it is very long and narrow. Okay, look at that. This is my S10 Plus. You see that? It's not as thick. It's thinner and it's longer. Okay, this is 6.4 inches. This is 6.5. All right. File that aside. Actually, here, let's just go ahead and power it on real quick. And I like the button setup here. Okay, felt a little vibration to let you know that it's turning on. All right, so we'll set the phone aside while it's booting up. And let's check out the rest of the inbox contents. Okay, so we've got some startup guide. Startup guide in another language. Okay. Important information, safety guidelines, important information, FCC statement, declaration of conformity. All right. So here's our 18-watt wall adapter here. Okay. And here is our Type-C. If I can get this out. Boom. All right, there we have it. Type-C for charging. And as I was browsing through Amazon looking for cases for this phone, I saw that they had the phone sitting on a wireless charger, indicating that the phone is wireless charge compatible. And I've got 2 wireless chargers on both ends of my desk, one here and one here. So I'm definitely going to test that out, because that'll make it even sweeter if it's wireless charge compatible. Now, here, ladies and gentlemen, is that 18 by 9, my bad, 21 by 9 aspect ratio. As I mentioned, the phone is very long, okay? 6.5 inches corner to corner. You see it has the big forehead, minimal chin down there. I'm not bothered by the forehead, not one bit, because that's where the ear receiver is and the front-facing camera sensor. Again, it's different. This is a different look. You know what I mean? Some people are going to be in love with this idea. Other people, not so much. Me, I'm a fan of innovation. I'm a fan of doing things differently. Me personally, I love this. All right, this is dope to me. Okay, now, right side of the device, we've got the volume rocker, dedicated fingerprint sensor. So it's not the fingerprint sensor and a power button. It's just the sensor itself. The power button is right on top of that. If you can see that button right there in the glare. So we've got the power button, fingerprint sensor, volume rocker right there. Top of the device, noise canceling mic, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack right there. I'm a fan of it being at the top of the device. All right. To the left, we've got the SIM tray, which houses a nano SIM and an SD card for memory expansion. Bottom of the device, we've got the Type-C port right here. This is the bottom firing speaker, and then this is a microphone right there. And it kind of looks like it's a dual bottom firing setup, speaker setup, but it's not. Okay, this is the loudspeaker. This is the microphone. Okay, back of the device, you see Xperia branding right there at the bottom, very faint. Sony branding right there. NFC right there in the middle. You see the little N. Here's our dual camera sensor with our LED flash right there on top of that. And I believe the 12 megapixel sensor is on the right. The 8 megapixel sensor is on the left. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and browse through the setup real quick. I'm gonna pause the video while I do that, get to the home screen. I'm not gonna upload any of my applications on here because I want you guys to see exactly how many gigs of storage that we have, considering all the applications that have been pre-installed on the device. So hold it down, I'll be right back. All right, y'all, so real quick, I wanted to take you through the fingerprint setup process just to see how swiftly, you know, the fingerprint setup is, considering that it is side mounted. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, okay, let me set up a quick pin. Boom. All right, so before starting, hold your device in its normal way, clean your fingerprint sensor, and then touch the sensor. All right. Okay. And you're just gonna feel a little vibration indicating that you're doing it properly, and you can also see the line of the circle going all the way around. Fingerprint added. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was pretty seamless right there. All right, so I'll finish the setup and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, so we back in. This is the Sony Xperia 10 Plus. So we are on the desktop, playing around with this phone for a little bit as I was getting things set up. Man, this phone is pretty dope, man. I'm liking it. You know, got the big 21:9 aspect ratio. Big fan of that. Again, very different. I applaud Sony for changing the game and doing something a little different, not trying to be like the rest of the competition out there with the 18 or the 19:9 aspect ratios. You know what I mean? And it's a game changer. A lot of like the movies and the TV shows in which we watch are like in like 16 by 9, but they're like filmed in like 21 by 9. But a lot of times we're not able to take full advantage of that because we don't have devices that is capable of, you know, viewing content in a 29 by 9 aspect ratio. And so it's like, you know, by Sony making this particular aspect ratio on the Xperia 10 and the 10 Plus here, you know, you have the ability to now take advantage of that aspect ratio, and you can watch shows, movies, you know what I mean, Netflix, Hulu, whatever, and the full compatible aspect ratio on your mobile device. You don't have to worry about black bars on the sides or on the top and bottom of the screen. It's just going to fit, and you know, the screen is automatically formatted to fill the whole screen to view the content in 21 by 9 aspect ratio, which is dope right now, you know what I mean? So you know, I applaud Sony for changing that up. Again, you know, I'm a big fan of it. I don't expect everybody to take to this because, like I said, I mean, this phone, again, it's pretty tall, being at 6.5 inches. But there is the Xperia 10, which is 6 inches. So it's a bit smaller, but it still does have the 21 by 9 aspect ratio as well. And the differences between that and the Plus here, this has the Snapdragon 636 processor in it. The 10 has the Snapdragon 630. This has 4 gigs of RAM. The 10 has 3 gigs of RAM. Obviously, this being the bigger device, it's got a bigger battery. The regular 10 has a little bit of a smaller battery than this one. It's like 28 something milliamps, and my understanding is that the battery is actually pretty good on that device, so don't knock it just because it's a smaller cell than 3000 milliamps. You know, these processors, whether it be the Snapdragon 630 or the Snapdragon 636, which is here in the Plus, is optimized very well for battery endurance. Okay, and then the cameras are a little bit different, and so here, you know, on the rear we have the 12 megapixel and an 8 megapixel telephoto. I believe on the 10 you've got a 13 megapixel and a 5 secondary telephoto lens, and I believe that there's an 8 megapixel sensor on both this and the 10, which is the smaller variant. And so those are the key differences. The 10 costs $329.99 full retail, and so if you were to get that through carrier activation, I think you can get that for like $299 or something like that, if not a little cheaper, maybe $249.99. So yeah, those are the differences between the two sizes. Now, again, I'm a big fan of this. I mean, again, God, it feels really good in the hand. I like the way that it's just curved around the sides. I mean, so it provides a very comfortable hold. As you can see, I've got really small hands, but I have no problem getting my hand around this whole device. I mean, and you can tell how tall this device is because I've got my hand wrapped all the way around it. But you can see when I turn it to the side, you still can see the Sony logo, and you still got all this canvas up here, you know what I mean? And so again, when I hold it next to my S10 Plus, again, this is 6.5, this is 6.4 inches, this is 6.5. You can see it's more narrow than the Samsung, and it's taller than the Samsung. Okay, and so yeah, you know, and it's like, I think it's 83 millimeters in thickness. I mean, so it's not that thick. You know, taking a look at it side to side, I mean, from the side there, I mean, it's a very thin device. And I know that people were talking about with the aspect ratio, the phone not being able to fit in your pocket. Come on, man, that's hogwash, man. The phone, it's going to fit in your pocket. Okay, it's not a heavy phone at all by any stretch of the imagination, and I like the feel of it. I mean, I'm still going to put it in the case because I believe in protecting all of my investments, but it's got like this matte finish, you know what I mean? It's not slippery. It doesn't appear too much to be too much of a fingerprint magnet. It's a good feel, and so it's kind of grippy, you know, for me at least. I'm very easily able to, you know, cuff this phone in my hand with no problem. Another thing that I like about this device is it is GSM and CDMA unlocked. Now, interestingly enough, I found that at Best Buy, when you're looking at a device, under the description of the device, when it tells you whether or not a phone is GSM or CDMA, I've noticed that a lot of these unlocked devices that are GSM networks, they'll say things like the phone is a GSM phone and it can be used with carriers like AT&T, T-Mobile, Metro PCS, Crooked Wireless. But I see that Verizon's name has been thrown in the mix as well with a lot of these phones that are supposed to be just GSM carrier. And so I did a little bit of research on that, and I've been hearing some rumors lately that Verizon, or actually for like the last couple of years, that Verizon was actually trying to do away with CDMA because it was an older technology and just wanting to go the full GSM route, just because that's the more common, more modern network, and that just seems to be the network that a lot of companies go for, which is why most of the time when these phones come out, they're GSM unlocked. You got very few phones that are GSM and CDMA unlocked. And so I've been finding that interesting, and so I did some research earlier only to find out that Verizon is only doing CDMA throughout the duration of 2019. At the end of 2019, they are completely doing away with CDMA and they are going to become a GSM network. Hence the reason why my S10 Plus here and my S10e, when I get these phones, I can easily throw my T-Mobile SIM card in them. And as you can see, right here at the bottom, it says T-Mobile right there. If you can see that, you know what I mean? This phone is straight from Verizon. And I understand that last year, like mid-2018, Verizon was talking about they were trying to lock their phones because people were hip to the fact that they were unlocked. They were dealing with like a lot of theft and stuff like that. When the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL dropped, Verizon locked those, and a lot of people, there was a lot of pushback that they got from that, from a lot of Verizon customers. So they basically lifted the locks for those and pretty much all their other devices. So here today, March 21st, Thursday at 10:31 p.m. All Verizon phones, as far as I know, are unlocked. They don't advertise that, but that's what it is. All right. And so, you know, it's good that, you know, hey, I mean, I got my Verizon SIM in here and it works just fine. No problems at all whatsoever. Okay. Even though this is a GSM phone, like I said, I mean, Verizon, they're making that transition. And so now some of your GSM phones where typically you wouldn't be able to put a Verizon SIM card in and it work, it now will work because Verizon is slowly transitioning from CDMA to GSM. So that's nice. I appreciate that. All right, now getting to the device here, nice and snappy. Again, Snapdragon 636 processor, 4 gigs of RAM. Swipe up, that's going to get you to your home or to your app drawer. And as you can see, this is a very clean, very near stock Android feel. I mean, there's very few applications that Sony put on here. Of course, there's a little bit of you've got the Xperia Lounge, that's really it. I mean, you got Facebook, and you just got the Google Suite. I mean, so as far as I can see right now, you got Facebook, Netflix, and the Xperia Lounge. That and Mail, and the FM radio. Of course, you know, you got the album and the photo album and all that. But yeah, that's about it. Very, very minimalistic approach as far as the pre-installed applications. When you swipe hard to the left, here is your Google Now. And to me, this is very useful. Get a lot of useful information about tech, phones, video game stuff, sports scores, all that kind of stuff. I mean, so, and you can just look at that aspect ratio is just absolutely gorgeous to me. Okay, like I said, you see you got the big forehead at the top, no big deal. I mean, you got the ear receiver right there. You've got your 8 megapixel selfie camera right there at the top right. You know, it would be nice if there was dual stereo speakers, one firing from the ear receiver here, then another one from the bottom, but it just has a single bottom firing loudspeaker. It does sound really good, by the way, so I'm not really too concerned with the sound quality of the device. But nonetheless, I mean, and I like the fact too that things are already in dark mode. Okay, so it's like here, like when I hit where's that at? So you have an option to invert the colors right there. So like if you want to, you know, change around your quick toggles here, you could do that. But all that does is it basically changes everything white. All right. So I like the fact that by default, out of the box, this phone is on dark mode. Like, I'm a huge fan of that. All right, would be nice now when we go into the settings for that to be dark mode as well. And I've gone through the settings just to see if I can change that to dark mode. I don't believe you can, but that's not really a big deal. Besides, I mean, this is one of those phones where it's like you want people to see this aspect ratio. This is one of those phones where people are going to see it. They're going to be like, what is that? They're going to see that thinness and how tall this phone is. They're going to see that aspect ratio. It's nothing like what a lot of people have ever seen before. So, I mean, again, I'm a huge fan of innovation. I like this. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely going to be my daily driver for a minute. You know what I'm saying? S10 Plus, I'm gonna have to put you down for a minute, you know what I'm saying? But this is the one right here. But I mean, yeah, man, this Sony is dope. I'm really liking it a lot. All right, so under the settings, typical Android 9 Pie setup, network and internet, device connection, appearance. And when you go here, you can change the wallpaper, or you can choose or change the device, the Xperia loops. And this is just on your lock screen. Like whether or not you want those loops there, like these things right here when you hit lock, and then you swipe up, and there's like these little rings. It's weird. They pop up from time to time. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why they're not there now, but you can turn that on or off, if you want. Fingerprint sensor, lightning quick, not a big deal at all whatsoever. Is it the fastest? No, it's not like OnePlus or like Huawei or Honor Fast or anything like that. It's not like fast like the Galaxy S10e, but it does the job nonetheless. And you just barely tap it, feel the vibration, phone just opens up just like that with no problem. Okay, so the fingerprint sensor is nice and responsive. I haven't set up facial recognition yet, but I will get around to that. But for now, the fingerprint sensor does me just fine. We'll go ahead and test that out again really quickly. Okay, boom. And it just takes you right to your desktop. Not a big deal at all whatsoever. All right, now, let's see. Well, you saw the little gesture there, so you swipe up. That's going to take you to all your recents, hit clear all, or you can just swipe them up to do away with all your recent applications that are open. Go back into settings. We've got appearance, apps, and notification. Battery. So under battery, you can see these are our optimization modes. We've got stamina mode and ultra stamina mode. And so remember, when you turn those things on, there's going to be some features and functions that you're going to have to do without, just in order for the battery to have that sustainability that you're looking for. So don't trip if you're low on juice and you turn on one of those modes and there's, you may not be able to browse, or, your screen brightness may be turned down really low, or just something, you know what I mean? It's going to take away something. Okay. Now for charging, you got battery care, and this is increase the battery lifespan by controlling the charging speed. Okay, so battery care increases the battery lifespan by reducing the time the device charged over 90% for a long time. Fast battery. Okay, so this is that technology where it helps your battery. I mean, so if you leave your battery on the charger overnight after it already hits 100%, typically the phone will notify you or make some kind of like noise when it hits 100%, and that's your indicator. Oh, okay, it's fully charged. Take it off the charger so you don't do any further damage to the battery. A lot of people damage their battery because the batteries are being overcharged. Well, this kind of prevents that. Okay, so it's nice that Sony was mindful enough to add that there. And then when you hit advanced, then you've got your battery percentage, adaptive battery, last full charge, 64 days ago, screen usage since full charge, and then use since last full charge. So your screen on time, 47 minutes, Android system, Google Play services, YouTube, mobile network standby, all that kind of thing. All right, so under the display, okay, this is where you can change. You can see I've got the brightness level at 30, which this phone gets extremely bright. You're not going to have any problem seeing this phone under any kind of lighting conditions whatsoever, in my personal opinion. We do have adaptive brightness, sleep, always have that 30 Well, I've got it 30 minutes now just so that the screen won't keep turning off while I'm shooting the video, but I normally keep that on 30 seconds. You can control your font size or display size right there, auto rotate screen. When you hit advanced, then you've got quality, so you can tap into color gamut. Me, I like that super vivid mode. I like colors to be nice and punchy. By default, it comes on standard mode. You can turn it off, or you can do super vivid. And let's see. And I know that there was a setting where you can go in and you can kind of adjust the RGB as well. Okay, oh, so the white balance. Okay, so yeah, when you go into the white balance, then by default it's on cool. I'm sorry, by default it's on standard. You can have it on warm, standard, cool, or custom. And so when you put it on custom, then you have the ability to change the RGB to pretty much how you want it to be and rock out how you normally do. Okay, and so interaction, we have side sense, swipe up on home button, one-handed mode, keep all that stuff on, backlight, and I'll talk to you guys real quick about what side sense is in a second. Smart backlight control, night light, prevent accidental operation with screen off. I turn that on, so that's what that does is if the phone is in your pocket and you're moving around, it just prevents accidental presses on applications or butt dialing, you know, all that kind of thing. Okay, screen lock preferences, screensaver off. All right, sound, storage. Okay, so you can see for storage, I haven't uploaded any of my applications on the device as of yet. 24% has been used, and that's all coming from the preloaded applications. And so this phone is 64 gigs out the box. It can be expanded up to 512. You can see we've got 48.90 gigabytes free. So that's what you're getting fresh out of the box. All right. Lock screen and security, that's where you go to manage your fingerprints. Accounts, that's where you manage all your emails and things. Xperia Assist. Okay, this is going to talk to you about all the new features of the device, and if there's anything that you feel you may want, you know, some additional information on, or you may want a tutorial on, you just click on one of these and it's going to lace you up on your new Xperia device. All right, accessibility, Google, system, and support. And support is just, again, if you need some additional help with figuring out things, how to operate your phone. Then you've got system, app issues, storage, battery, software, user guide, bunch of different tools and things right there to help you master your new device. All right, now, really quickly, let's see, I'm going to take it to the album. And so there was a trailer for the new Venom movie, and it's in 21:9, and so I'm gonna go ahead and play this really quickly and let you guys check that out. Okay, it's the Spider-Man. This is absolutely gorgeous, man. Looking at it through this camera lens does not do this any justice. This is definitely the way you want to watch media content. Wow.
Wait, so how many of us are
there? Yeah. If you didn't see that movie, see it. It's really good. But yeah, no, that is definitely the way you want to view content. Oh my goodness, man, that was dope. That was dope. All right. So there's just a little content for you for the new aspect ratio. Now, side sense, if you guys can see, there's this little clear bar that's right there. And it's kind of reminiscent to the Edge screen on the Samsung devices. And really, oh, I didn't know you can move that up on the Samsungs just like that. Okay, so you see the edge screen right there in the Samsung. Well, you've also got the little edge, little line right there. So what you do is you double tap on that line, and it's going to bring up a little screen in order for you to just navigate. So if you do not want to, you know, say go into your app drawer by just simply swiping up. And I understand this can be kind of cumbersome just because of how tall this screen is. We do have one-handed mode, but the side sense, you just double tap the little line there, and it just brings up a bunch of different applications right there. And you can set this to have those applications be exactly what you want them to be, just like you can on the Samsung Edge screen. You don't have the ability to swipe different edges, edge screens like you do on the Samsungs, but some of your most recent apps that you just want to quickly access, you just double tap on that little line, and it's going to bring up those applications, and you can just use your thumb right there just to navigate them. Quick toggles, you can set your frequently used quick toggles right there, 3 of them, I believe. So just by default it's mobile data, location, and Wi-Fi, but I can set those to what I want. And then down here we've got notification, one-handed mode, and then advanced. And so one-handed mode, this is what that looks like. And so you see we have the ability to fully navigate the device, and there's a little arrow over here, and you can make the screen, you can make it as big as you want. If you want it to be a little bit bigger than what it was, then you could do that. Or if you're just content with how small the screen is right there in the one-handed mode, then you definitely can just rock with it being what it is right now, which is pretty dope. All right, so okay, so you hit the arrow to move it from right to left. Okay, all right, so again, double tap on the line, that's going to bring up the side sense. Okay, and then on that little line, if you want to get rid of the side sense, you just simply swipe up on that little line. Okay, and you can have the side sense little line pretty much wherever you want it. So you just hold down on it, and you're gonna feel it vibrate. And you see how I'm able to just move that down. And again, this phone being as tall as it is, if you've got small hands, and even with holding your phone, your thumb is gonna be maybe at midpoint, then you can move that down and just tap it whenever you want to. Just basically move it to where it's convenient for you to use it. You know what I mean? And so I like that, as opposed to it just being stuck in the middle, or more so at the top, where you're still going to have to wedge your hand up just to access that feature. Okay, so I like the fact that Sony enables us to the ability to be able to move that line. And I think that that's a very useful tool, especially for a phone that's as tall as this. All right. So now, let's take it to the camera real quick. Nope, do not save my location. All right, let me get something to shoot here. Good old Xperia 10 Plus box. And really quickly, before I shoot anything, just know we've got the regular camera mode, and this is the video mode. And again, we do have the ability to shoot in 4K at 30 frames per second, and that's only with the rear camera. And we can also shoot at 1080p at 30 frames per second. With the front-facing 8 megapixel sensor, we have the ability to shoot in 1080p at 30 frames per second as well. Okay. Now, again, we've got that 8 megapixel telephoto lens, and so we do have 2x optical zoom, which, as you saw, just zoomed in right there. The different modes, we've got portrait, selfie, bokeh, slow motion, manual, creative effect, and panorama. When you click on manual, this is your pro mode, and so you're going to be able to adjust your shutter speed, your white balance, all that kind of thing. Okay. All right. And let's see. So just want to go in. Okay. So allow. It's going to ask you can the camera have these different permissions? And here is our 8 megapixel selfie camera right here. And I'm going to go back to the rear camera really quickly and just go into the settings. And for the settings, we've got still image, And so here you can see we can record 4.3, 16 by 9, 1.1, and yes, we can record or shoot in 21 by 9. Okay, shouldn't be a surprise considering that this screen size is a 21 by 9 aspect ratio. Okay, but as my man Jay Will said in his video on the Xperia 10, he got the smaller one, and you know, he has shot some video and some photos in 21 by 9, but the device that other people were viewing that content on was either only 16 by 9 or 18 or 19 by 9. Okay, if I shoot something in 21 by 9 with this phone, and you guys are watching it on your phone that's an 18 by 9 or a 19 by 9 aspect ratio, or an 8 or 19 by 5.9 aspect ratio, guess what? You're not going to be able to view this content in 21 by 9. Why? Because your phone is not compatible with 21 by 9. Alright, that makes sense? Okay, so you know, if that's the case, don't be thinking, oh man, Prestige said he shot this video in 21 by 9, but I can't get 21 by 9 on my device, because you ain't got a device that got 21 by 9, pimping. You know what I'm saying? So be mindful of that. Okay? Be mindful of that. Alright, so just going to keep it at 4.3. Okay, object tracking, auto capturing, save location, touch capture, grid lines. Yeah, I'll turn the grid lines on. Auto photo review, use volume key as, and so right now it's set as zoom, volume, or shutter. We'll just keep it at zoom. Okay, data storage, I mean, that's where if you've got an SD card in here and you shoot photos or video, you can set it to where rather than that content saving to your phone, it will save to the SD card. Okay, here's your help, and then reset settings. Okay, so that's all we got under the settings menu. Okay, here is our flash. We've got auto fill flash, red eye reduction, off, or flashlight. Let's just keep that off. All right, here's our timer, 10 seconds, 3 seconds, and off. 4.3. What is this? What is that? I'm not sure what that is. But I know that we have these little sliders here, and we have the ability to adjust some things. Okay, I'm not really too sure what that is. I have to learn about that. Okay, here is to switch the camera around. And let's see, eye direction, keep your eye on the front camera near ear speaker. Okay. And hand shutter. Oh, that's nice. I've been playing with that on the Samsung. So turn your palm toward the camera. Self timer will be turned on when your palm is recognized to make it easy to be recognized. Extend your fingers upward. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So, okay. Well, it's only showing my face. All right. Whatever. Okay. So let me take a quick little selfie, and that looks beautiful. Okay. Quick shutter speed right there. Ooh, I like that. I like how it just displays the photo right there in the bottom right corner. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, look at that detail. Whoa, okay, Sony. I see you. I see you. Okay. That's yeah. Okay. Like that. Like that. All right. So, let's go ahead and get a quick picture of this Bizox real quick. Oh man, look at that. And as I mentioned, we do have HDR. And so I imagine that photos and well-lit circumstances are going to be awesome. You know, where a lot of phones tend to struggle is in those low light conditions unless they have like a dedicated night mode. And even some of those dedicated night modes aren't really the best. You can get some okay shots in low light situations. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the Xperia 10 Plus does here in low light circumstances. Okay, so as you can see right there, beautiful photo of the box. Really looking forward to getting this outside in some light in some, in some other conditions and testing this camera out for a fact. But I can tell right now this camera is really, really nice. So definitely stay tuned for the dedicated camera review that I've got coming for this device. And then that's going to be followed up with the full pristine review. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for the unboxing for the all-new Sony Xperia 10 Plus. I love innovation. First device that I've got my hand on that had the 21:9 aspect ratio. I'm sure there's some out there, maybe. If there are, I haven't really heard much about them. But I know that Xperia 1 is going to be dropping. Whenever Sony decides to drop it, that's going to be their flagship, and it's going to have the same, pretty much the same dimensions as the 10 Plus here, which is why I decided to get the Plus, because I'm like, okay, when I get that 1, man, this is pretty much going to have the same dimensions, and so I just want to be prepared for that. You know what I mean? And it's like, what a better way to prepare for it than to get their mid-range that's pretty much going to have the same dimensions. All right. So if you like this video, you already know, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of more videos that I've done like this one. Definitely keep it locked here at Pristine Mobile Tech, because I've got so much more content to come. You already know, hit that notifications bell. Anytime my videos go live, you'll get notified that a new one was uploaded. You can check it out. And after you get done peeping out the video, hop down in that comment section. Let me know how you feel about what you saw. Hit me with any questions, comments, or feedback of any kind. I'll do my absolute best to get back in contact with you guys and answer your questions through the YouTube messaging or in future videos that I'm planning on doing for not just the Sony Xperia 10 Plus here, but for a whole slew of other devices that I've got coming in for 2019. All right. So thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the video. I hope you liked it. If you know that somebody's interested in this phone, but they're kind of on the fence and want to know something else about it, be sure to share this video, because these videos help a lot of people make informed decisions on what their next smartphone purchase is going to be. And that's what I do this for. Okay? That's what I do this for. To help you guys make informed decisions on what your next smartphone purchase is going to be. All right? Much love to all of my subscribers, all of my new subscribers. Man, I appreciate the subscription. I'm glad that you stumbled across my channel and found something useful that warranted the subscription. Much love, and I'm gonna keep getting my hands on these devices, putting out as much information as I possibly can, again, to help you guys out. All right, so keep it locked. I'll catch you guys in the next one. You already know. Please stay safe, get spiritually fit. We're definitely living in the last days. Remember, God is always ready to start over, no matter where you're at in your lives, man. He didn't bring you this far just to drop you off at this point. And all you got to do is submit your life over to Him and trust and believe in Him. And He got you, no matter what. No matter what. It don't matter what you've done in your life, how many sins you've committed. Repent, pray for forgiveness. He'll wash you clean, and you'll be straight. Okay? You'll be straight. Keep it pristine, man, in every aspect of your lives. This is the Sony Xperia 10 Plus. I'm your man, Pristine, the host, bringing you the content. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.